Hello, beautiful, and welcome back. Today we're getting into the tell-all part 1. The first to arrive at the studio is Corona, looking like a rainbow threw up all over her. She tells us right away that her and Ingy are not together, and I can smell the bitterness emanating off of her.
He is a jackass and fumbled the bag big time, and he will regret that for the rest of his life.
By the way, you, lady, who left the comment that I don't like Corona because she's black, how dare you? Shame on you. The next to arrive are James and Tata. Both are sulking. I am so shocked. Josh is here alone, telling us that he hopes Lily doesn't get too angry. Joanne shows up, telling us that due to her incredible psychic abilities, she can sense everyone's energy, and it's making her feel crazy. But thank goodness, she has her magical crystals to make sure everything goes great. Oh, because we all know how helpful they have been for her and James so far. Joanne walks in and Josh stands up to greet her, but she doesn't touch him. She just sits right down. They start talking and he is so weird, you guys. He never makes eye contact with her. Even when he's saying to her, "Oh, you look so good," he's looking down at the ground.
I can't believe I'm seeing you in person.
I know, right? It's like, oh, here you are in person.
Then James walks in to complete the trifecta of weirdos. Oh, and look, he has his crystals on too.
You must have some grounding crystals on or something, but there's...
I have a few.
Okay, I'm like, there's something going on.
James is one of the ugliest girls I think I've ever seen. Hang on, James, my senses are tingling. Let me go grab something real quick. She comes back with Sean, and oh my gosh, look at Josh's face. Find a man who looks at you the way that Josh looks at Sean. Tata walks out in a really bright dress with some boots. I don't like it, but it definitely screamed Tata. Corona walks in looking okay. I like the dress. The shoes are a statement. I don't know if I love them or hate them. She's obviously very close with James and Tata if nobody knows that. I do believe that they hang out outside, like in real life.
I'm not soft partnering anyone on this stage, so I'm telling everyone what I think.
Wow, thank you for that, Corona. We're all so happy that you could make it. Finally, we have Sharpie and Shakina. Everyone already knew that Sharpie was in the States, but I didn't know that Shakina refilled her whole face. On Instagram, she was like, "Oh, I melted all my fillers," and I was like, "Oh, she looks really good." I was finally like able to look at her and be like, yes, she is pretty. And then she rolls up looking like handsome Squidward all over again. And her lips look bigger. And she's wearing the horrible vampire contacts. Boo! If you would have told me I was going to be in America, I would have laughed with my ass.
I would laugh with my ass. That would be the last thing that I would do.
Meanwhile, the rest of the cast is listening to Corona bash the crap out of Ingy. And nobody is asking any questions. They're just sucking it all up.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to calling that mother out, seeing what he has to say, so.
Ladies, yes, he is a good-looking man, okay? I know. But that doesn't erase how much of a douchebag he is. Am I the only person who views someone completely differently based on their personality? I feel like I could go on a whole rant about it right now, but we don't have time.
Show of hands, who all here is still in a relationship?
Everybody but me.
I'm thinking, has anyone on the set been watching the same footage as me? How are they all sympathizing with Corona? Then it cuts to Sarper saying what the rest of us are thinking, thank you.
Corona is so noisy. She is so reactive, so annoying.
Yes! Then out of nowhere, Shakina busts out an entire stick of butter, and they just start chomping away. It was so random. And then later she tells us that they mostly eat like meat and fatty stuff because they're on the carnivore diet, but it kind of just sounds like they're doing keto. I definitely loved my butter when I was on keto, but to just grab a stick and eat it, Then everyone goes off to set, hooray.
Ingy, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
I don't know what is wrong with the rest of these people. Ingy dodged a big fat bullet. They do introductions real quick and then they get to Corona and Ingy. She flips him off and says they are completely over. They're not even friends. She does all the talking and then Sean chimes in.
And he's laughing like the piece of that he is.
100%.
Definitely not a good look for you, man.
They know nothing about this guy, except for what Corona has been saying. He is sitting there like, what? Huh?
You know what you're doing, you're a piece of You're lucky you're not sitting here in person. Oh, what?
Yeah, Sean, you're so cool threatening the guy over Zoom. What a stud. Corona keeps piling on, so her and Sean are attacking Ingy. And he's like, I did love Corona. I never lied about that.
Why the did you even show up if you're just gonna be here lying with that smug smile on your face?
This was just the introductions, you guys. I felt so bad for Ingy. He was totally blindsided, but finally, we start the show and dive right into Sharpie and Shakina. The first question is, did you know that Sharpie only proposed to you because he wanted you to stay in Turkey?
It didn't work for him, clearly. I mean, here he is in the US.
The only way to make our relationship work was for me to come with her to America. She couldn't accept staying in Turkey, and I didn't want you to be happy, Shakina!
Would you have proposed if you knew you would be coming to America?
That's a really long
We're
pause.
taking a long pause.
Don't even answer.
He tells the crew that he had to come to America because he knew that they would not work long distance. He tells everyone she's super controlling and wants to know his every move.
Can you go out by yourself without Shakina?
I didn't yet.
In this episode, Shakina comes across totally different. In the last tell-off, she seemed very submissive and she didn't think there was anything wrong with him just imposing his ways upon her. Now she's being very strict with him and has no problem telling anyone off. But then we learn this.
Do you track his location?
I can't. He won't let me.
Sarper tells us that she isn't allowed to even touch his phone. She can't see his DMs and texts, nothing. That was a hard line that he drew and he isn't budging on it because he claims he wants an ounce of privacy. But of all the things to say are off limits, that is probably the shadiest, sketchiest one he could have picked.
For example, I'm talking with my high school friends and they are sending me some porn photos or something.
The more he talks about this chat group that he's in with his friends, the worse it gets. It's just a bunch of dudes sharing these raunchy pictures and then talking about what they would like to do to these women. Completely inappropriate.
Is this the first time you're hearing this?
Yes, this is gross.
It's not, babe.
It is gross.
Everyone starts piling on Sarper for how wrong it is that he's in a group like this, and he reassures Shakina that he would never cheat on her.
I would break up with you if I wanted to cheat, and then it's not even cheating.
Doesn't want me to talk with any females, if possible, right?
Yeah.
They call her gay friend on Zoom, and he says that they are both severely jealous, and it might be a problem when he is getting to know all of her female friends. Sean and Joanne say that doesn't make any sense, but to Tata and James it does.
Can James have any female friends?
No,
No.
absolutely not.
But Sarper says he understands how she feels because of his past. Speaking of past, we have one of your past hookups. Here she is.
Hi, Didi.
Hi, Sarper. Hi.
Oh my God.
What is this?
I had so many mixed feelings about this. Okay, first, Shakina turned into a total beezy, being mean to this girl before she knew anything about her simply because she hooked up with him in the past. One of thousands of women, okay? Are you gonna just hate all of them? I understand why she wouldn't want to see her or talk with her, but you don't need to be that nasty either.
Sarper doesn't have any friends that are females, so you're not friends, honey. Is that your friend?
She was just such a bully about it. But then we find out that they hooked up 3 years ago and they've stayed in touch all this time. Didi says she knows Sarper really well and they're good friends. She's also a therapist and told Sarper that she would love to get to know Shakina and hang out with both of them.
He said no because she's possessive and unpredictable.
How dare you say that, Sharpie?
Shakina, I am not the same man I used to be, and you know that. Didi knows that too.
Yeah, Sarper is very loyal. He would not cheat on her, but he also feels trapped in this relationship. He isn't allowed to go anywhere or have any friends.
Unhealthy in a lot of ways.
That's fine. I really don't care what you think about our relationship.
How could you even say that you know him? You were just some one-night stand. You don't know anything. I mean, look at you and look at me. I'm out of here. I'm done looking at that thing.
Just let me know when she's off the screen, because I can't look at whatever that is any longer.
How the turns have tabled! Shakina turns into the mean girl and everyone has grown so fond of Sarper, which is surely just going to make her more upset. While Shakina is backstage, everyone is still sitting at set discussing the situation, trying to get some clarity. Sarper tells them they've only spoken to each other like 3 times, which doesn't make any sense because she seems to know everything going on in his life. Then she holds up her phone and just scrolls and scrolls and scrolls through all of their text messages.
I feel he handled it right though, because he did say I'm in a relationship, although he did say that one weird thing, but he said I'm in a relationship.
Yeah.
This situation is so messy and she should not be this involved, but it also looks like they do have a real friendship, but also they had sex in the past. So he shouldn't be talking to her if it upsets Shakina. Then they all go to break and now Shakina is pissed that Sarper didn't chase after her. She's like, why is everyone else here comforting me, trying to talk to me? It should be Sarper.
You handle it better than I would.
No, you handled that great. In my opinion, I would have popped off on it.
Good job, Shakina. You handle it better than Corona and Tata. That is really an accomplishment. Corona leaves and tells Sarper he needs to go tend to Shakina, which he does, only to be blasted with accusations.
Why was that conversation more
Maybe
important
we
to
were
you?
on the stage and
I left the stage. Why didn't you?
Sarper manages to schmooze his way back into her good graces by telling her over and over again how beautiful she is.
Don't make me laugh when I'm
I love you when you laugh. You are so beautiful. And I'm a good guy.
Then we go back to set and dive into Josh and Lily. Sean asks them on a scale of 1 to 10, how would they rate the status of the relationship? Josh optimistically gives it a 6 with his eyes bulging out of his face. Lily gives it a 3.
我的丈夫每天都在责怪我，我们甚至于没有拥抱。
Lily says she has lost all her confidence after constantly being rejected by Josh. She says that in their entire time of knowing each other, they've probably had sex like 5 times total. Josh immediately breaks into tears, but then this is all he says.
She's not 100% happy, and that does bother me. So it's hard.
I was expecting a lot more than that, but that was all that he said. Sean asked Lily how it makes her feel to see him crying, and she says, I don't feel anything. But at this point, I can see why she doesn't feel anything. He's all talk. He doesn't do anything to make the situation better. Sarper tells Josh that a man who doesn't sleep with his wife could never be higher than a 4 out of 10 because the woman won't feel loved and wanted.
You've hurt her so much and she's been rejected so much that she doesn't feel wanted by you anymore.
Josh reveals that, like Gino, when he's being put down constantly, every day, his desire just dies. Then we get into everyone knowing each other's body count. A few of the couples know each other's body count, including Lily and Josh. Josh has a very low body count. So everyone is realizing this guy just doesn't have a strong sex drive. So it's not a surprise he's not jumping Lily. Then Sean moves back over to Shakina and Sarper because, as we all know, Sarper has a billion people that he slept with. But the idea of her sleeping with anyone else scares the bejesus out of Sarper. But it's getting to the point where Shakina just really wants to tell him.
I would love to just tell him.
Tell him.
I feel like he would leave me.
She doesn't tell him, so we move on to James and Tata. In summary, these two are still on the rocks. They love each other a lot. In fact, Tata says that even if James never wants to have a baby, she will still stay with him because she takes her vows seriously. And I was like, wow, good for you.
Okay. No matter what happened, I married him for good and bad.
However, we learned that Tata would not come to the States until James began the visa process to bring her sister to the States. We find out she might be staying up to 6 months living with them.
That's very dangerous.
It's gonna be a war zone in your home.
At this point in the show, every cast member is telling them both that if they allow Angel to come, she's going to do whatever she can to tear them apart. Sean goes so far as to say cancel the visa, it's not going to be worth it.
As soon as she's here, every day is going to be, how can I save my marriage?
I don't think Tata is going to bend on this one because they go to break, and she tells James he needs to forgive her sister.
She hates my guts. She hates...
Forgive, forgive, and forget.
Ugh. She needs to tell her sister to stick it where the sun don't shine. During the break, Sharpie calls up Ingy and he's like, hey man, she's talking so much crap about you. Everyone is against you. You have to tell us your side of the story.
Now, the coronavirus, you found her.
While they're having this conversation, the rest of the cast is listening to Corona just go on and on bashing him. Then Sarper walks in and he's like,
Hey, you're just forming up a team to attack him.
Maybe he has something to say to us about whatever you are claiming.
uh-oh. We're back to set and Sean asks Ingy directly to give his side of the story. He tells us that when he came back to America to visit her, the moment he walked up, it was like she was a completely different person.
I did not see the loving, fun, caring person that I fell in love with.
As he's telling his side of the story, he seems very solemn and serious. Corona is listening to everything, shaking her head in disagreement. She's rolling her eyes, making hand gestures. So once he's done saying what he's got to say, he gets up and leaves.
I'm out of here.
Son of a, what a weak bitch.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe he walked off the set. Well, I can. He's being attacked by everyone on set, and while he's telling his side of the story, she's just sitting there rolling her eyes, being a brat, having attitude. So what's the point? I don't blame him.
What the
That was a bitch move.
I'm shocked.
In the next episode, we get into Sean and Joanne's mother gets into a spat with Shakila. We get back into Josh and Lily and why they aren't being intimate.
Why don't you my mom?
And that was it. I'm sorry this is so late and so short. My week has been absolutely insane. I'm so sorry. I love you and I will see you next week. Hopefully things will be a little more calm Maybe it's gonna be the Thanksgiving week. Happy Thanksgiving! I love you. Bye!